All right, we are live. Sportsbet betting insight today. Google Hangout. Paulie and Teddy covers. We do this every Thursday at 8 Pacific. Fire your questions away, and we'll answer as many as we can. We'll try to get to everything, Teddy. Teddy, a typical Phoenix Nuggets game here. Phoenix in Denver, a shootout in this game. This game's bananas.
Yeah, we just started, Paulie, so you may as well open again. Just went on.
All right. We're live. Sportsbet betting insight today. Paulie and Teddy. We're here every
Paulie,
Thursday.
we can see you this week.
Yeah, buddy, you bastard.
Yeah, don't be so formal, man. This is about having fun tonight, answering questions. Hey, BMOC, glad to have you on the show. You did a very nice job for our, what was that, Wednesday edition. Of course, BMOC was the one who said Creighton is finished. Stick a fork in them. Certainly looked very prescient with that information last night, Paul.
Yep. Let's run it down quickly. Tomorrow's NBA card. We have let's start off with betting number 851, 852, Houston and Philly. They flexed the 76ers to ESPN. They're so hot. How about this? But no line because of Embiid and Gordon questionable as well.
Yeah, we're actually going to, and we had a real quandary for the Friday show. We're going to end up using this game for play of the day in a situation where we've got 4 games we're talking about. We don't have point spreads for any of the 4. Which is a fairly unique situation, but we've got a couple games on Saturday that we're talking about. There's no Pro Bowl lineup yet. So we're going to do go into this game on Sportsbet for Friday. I don't want to talk too much about it right now, especially because we're going with the play of the day here. Right. My line, Houston -4 over Philadelphia.
All right, Pacers 4, 212.5 at home to Sac.
Well, Sac, though, is going to remember what happened just a couple of weeks ago. At the tail end of their homestand, they had Indiana up by 22 in the second half of that game.
Yes.
Rudy Gay got hurt. They lost. They failed to cover. It was a brutal beat. And then since that first loss at Memphis to open the road trip, the Kings, 3 straight covers, 2 straight wins. Interesting game. I probably won't get involved. Indiana with a nice road victory tonight.
No line again. Milwaukee and Toronto. DeRozan questionable.
Yeah, DeRozan's questionable. My number's Toronto 7.5 over Milwaukee. That's a with DeRozan line. If DeRozan's out, I make a bigger adjustment than that. But the Bucks just 1-6 straight up and against the spread their last 7. A team that we really had high hopes for, Paulie, just hasn't worked out the last couple of weeks for Milwaukee. They had that series of really tough beats all in a row where they had buzzer beater, loss 3 or 4 of them in a matter of 2 weeks. They just haven't been the same team since.
LeBron pissed off. See if they can end the losing streak. 14.5 at home against the Nets. 226 the total.
Yeah, I mean, my number's Cleveland 14 against Brooklyn. You know how many point spread covers the Cavs have since Christmas?
How many?
They got 3.
Wow.
3 covers since Christmas. They have been burning people's money. And it's not a game I'm done. We said, this is a game Cleveland's going to show up last time. They ended up losing at home to Sacramento. I got to see it before I believe it for the Cavs right now. They're a one-way team for me. Pass.
All right. Orlando, Boston, no line.
Yeah, my number's Celtics 10.5. 2 teams I'm not particularly excited about supporting necessarily tomorrow night. I'll say this. The Magic aren't playing any defense, and Boston's not playing any defense. Maybe look for this game to get up and over the total.
This one, too. Charlotte and the Knicks, they're shopping Melo. They called the Clippers and said, you can take Melo. We don't even need one of the big 3. Oh, my God. Pick them 212.5 the total.
Yeah, my number's Charlotte -1. Any chance I get to bet against the Knicks in a near pick 'em price range, I'm going to pay attention. And Kemba Walker getting named to the All-Star team, that I think is a positive sign for Charlotte. Although I'm kind of disappointed. I wanted a snub or 2 so there'd be someone to bet on tomorrow night in these snub situations. Nobody got snubbed. Nobody deserved to be in the All-Star game that didn't get in, Paulie. Not a 1.
Big game here. Washington and Atlanta. Hawks at home, 3.5, 211 the total.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Wizards are the point spread story of the NBA season right now. They're 19-6 ATS their last 25. All right, this isn't like a week or a month. This is almost a third of the season where the Wizards are 19-6 against the number. They've been an undervalued commodity. I still think they're an undervalued commodity. Washington or nothing.
Oh, we got problems in Chicago. Wade and Butler called out the team, and then Rondo fired back today on Instagram that Garnett and Pierce would never do that. Oh, boy. In any event, Chicago's 6 at home to Miami, 204.5.
Yeah, exactly. Not their chalk. They got to win by margin. But, of course, the Heat, I mean, everybody's hurt for Miami. Don't know if Whiteside's going to play tomorrow night. Johnson's a question mark. There's numerous injury concerns for the Heat in that ballgame. So it's a pick your poison type of contest. And there's a chance, at least, that Chicago might come out and kill somebody.
All right, two more. No line again, San Antonio and New Orleans, and Memphis and Portland. Portland won at home, 207.5.
Yeah, don't know yet about Anthony Davis. Don't know yet about Kawhi Leonard. I'll say this much. There was a time that New Orleans owned San Antonio. They had like 5 straight covers and 4 wins during that span against the Spurs. Not that long ago. Like it was in the last 3 years. Hasn't been the case in recent meetings. San Antonio or pass. And look, Portland, Memphis. I mean, these teams have played some great games. Had a great playoff series a couple of years ago. But do I trust the Blazers against a team that plays defense? No, I do not. It'd be the road team or pass for me in that one.
All right, let's rumble. We're every Thursday at 8 Pacific. Kendall, how about those Sixers? Absolutely, great story. Getting 11 against the Bucks without Embiid, they win. Down 19 against the Clippers at home in the third quarter. They won that game, and now they're on ESPN. It's a great story. I'm with you there. Breadman's here. Everyone's here. Andy's checking in. We got a lot to get to, Teddy.
Yeah, sure, but we got to talk about the fact they flexed Philly in.
I can't believe it.
When's the last time the Sixers were on ESPN where they got flexed in? I mean, I can't.
Oh, God. You might have to go back to Iverson.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, it's been forever.
Trust the process. Oh,
it's almost from a betting perspective, it's almost worth rooting against Philly tomorrow. You don't want them to look great on national TV. That'll take all our value away, or at least some of our value away.
Yep, Rams fan. Why no hockey picks? I played in high school. I'm from Minnesota. It's just we like to agree on the picks, and Teddy doesn't know much about hockey. Is that fair?
Yeah, the truth of it is I know nothing about hockey. And while I respect the hockey fans, when it comes to handle in Las Vegas, hockey's a distant, way behind football, way behind hoops, way behind baseball. So I understand that, though. And for those out there who bet it, more power to you. It's just not something that I can really talk about real well. Hey, how about this? I like Guan White. This is my gospel. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, Darth Vader.
Great show going, man. This is awesome. I really appreciate the positive comments.
Darth Vader, Musburger's Jesus, and Goodell's the Antichrist. You got that right. Funny how Goodell speaks of the integrity of the game when the Steelers fail to report Bell's injury. Andy checking in again. Andy always tweets at us, at Paulie Howard, at Teddy_covers. You got time to why you shouldn't tease across 0 on a teaser again?
Well, we're going to talk about that. We got some great tweets, and we're going to do a lot of Twitter answers on the Friday edition. We got a whole segment planned, and that's one of the questions that was asked. So I'm going to talk about that on tomorrow's show. So no, I'm not going to answer that question right now. it's not a 2-second answer, a minute answer. But the bottom line is you don't tease across 0 because you're not getting full value for your points.
Yeah, BMOC's right, too. Embiid got snubbed. So no date with Rihanna.
No, Embiid didn't get snubbed. Embiid missed too many games. Who are you going to kick out for? They're saying Paul Millsap. Paul Millsap, you can't say that Embiid got snubbed because there's not enough spots for him. Paul Millsap deserved that spot. Don't tell me Paul Millsap wasn't an all-star this year. He's an all-star this year. Embiid didn't play enough games. When you're sitting out every other night and you're not in as many games, I'm sorry, you don't get the bid over the guy that plays every day. You don't.
Ridiculous. I was rooting him on to go out on a date with Rihanna. Give me a call when you make an all-star team, bro. Halfway down the road, tennis thoughts. Hey, I thought the semi was terrific. I watched both. We got the finals with the Williams sisters. Venus is 36, and she won to make it back. I didn't think she'd been in a Grand Slam final since 06 or 03, something like that. Terrific. We might get Federer against Federer's in the finals, too. So I'm looking forward to that. That was great last night. What else do we got?
We got time. Let me jump into the tennis question for a second because, again, we aim to be a sports center for bettors. We're constrained in the fact that we can only talk the sports that we know the best. We're not like we have a budget where I'm going to go and hire a tennis guy and bring him in here to do tennis commentary for us. Love to have someone on the show who can do tennis commentary. You're out there? Give us a buzz. We're all interested. We're all ears, I just say. Joe Yurkovich, how do you know when you pass and when to make a play? That's the ultimate question, Joe. It really is. My personal process, I start out and I go through every game on the board, and then what I'll do is I'll make my short list. And the short list can have, 2 games on it, can have 20 games on it. Just depends on the day. And then with that short list, I'm going through each individual, and that's where my pass or play decisions come. As a bettor, I tend to be looking for numbers. When I see those numbers, I'll bet them. When I don't, I end up passing. So the initial handicap narrows the field. The rest of the decisions are based on what point spreads I can find. That's the best I can answer you real quick. Brian Myers, Teddy, do you have a look at the line for the Kansas-Kentucky game? Maybe Kentucky 5 or 6. We do have a guesstimated look-ahead line on that ball game. And, man, you nailed it. Kentucky 5.5 is the guesstimate for that one. So you're right in the ballpark there.
It's Sportsbet Betting Insight today. The Google Hangout. It's Paulie and Teddy. Our show up. What you call it? It's up by 8 Pacific every morning, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, generally. I mean, yes, it was up before 8 Pacific time. And, of course, you tweet it, Paulie. I tweet it. You go to SBR, you can find it. You go to YouTube, you can find it. It's not a difficult show to find online right now. But if you follow either one of us on Twitter, if you follow SBR Sportsbooks on Twitter, if you go to SBR Forum or any of the other places that we just mentioned, you can find it every day and literally every morning, first thing in the morning.
Nice effort by Indiana tonight, huh?
Which Indiana?
Did you see that at Michigan?
Oh, they got their clocks cleaned.
Oh, they had like 16 points in the second half with like 2 minutes left.
I didn't watch any of the second half of that game. I saw the first half. Well, Michigan ran them out right from the opening tip. The first score I saw was like 16-4.
Yep. Yeah. Guan White, how many bets a day should you bet on college basketball? Teddy, there's so many.
How many bets a day should? Well, man, that's not a question I can answer for you. That's a question you need to answer for yourself. Now, in terms of putting bankroll in position to take advantage of as many wagers, any pro will tell you make as many bets as you think you have a positive expectation on. You know, you have to divvy up your bankroll so that when you make 15 bets on a college basketball night and you have a bad night, you're not completely crushing out of action. But any pro will tell you it's not a number of bets that you're looking for. Is it a good bet or a bad bet? If it's a good bet, you find a way to bet it.
How's Oregon doing?
I'll tell you in 1 second.
That's a good game. Dylan Brooks was playing. He was questionable. I saw him in there. Right before
I got Utah 24-23, though. I'm not watching it. I can't do live chats. I don't have the TVs on. I just get distracted. It's hard enough going through the messages, let alone if there's a TV on right now.
Yeah. That's not a screen behind Teddy.
No,
remember when the guy called you and said, "Hey, update that. It's not baseball anymore."
Yeah. Hey, give you a hint. That's a backdrop. It's a banner. It's a photograph that I got blown up and built to a banner so it looks cool behind me. Nobody wants to see the wall of my office. This looks a lot cooler.
No, Rob Job 19 coming to Vegas soon. Best buffet, Wicked Spoon at Cosmopolitan. The seafood buffet at the Rio, and Caesars has an unbelievable buffet as well.
Yeah, the Bacchanal buffet is pretty good. Bellagio's is pretty good too. I mean, the high-end buffets, you're not going to go wrong. You're really not going to go wrong. The low-end buffets, you can go wrong.
Oh, sure.
But if you're willing to wait in the line, because the buffet lines get ridiculous sometimes, and B, shell out the I don't know, is it big bucks, Paulie? Some of the buffets are like $40, $50 now. Well,
but you get everything.
It's a buffet. It's all you can eat.
But the dessert menu, I would pay $40 just for the dessert menu at the Wicked Spoon in some of these spots too. Now, you're right.
But the day of the $3.99 buffet and the $5.99 buffet, those days are gone now.
Am I out of my mind to put all my winnings from last year? Maybe he's talking last week on Atlanta to win the Super Bowl. Atlanta +3.
Are you out of your mind?
Is he out of his mind then?
But one thing you can see very clearly from this year's Super Bowl, wise guys haven't done anything. I mean, like the big money, the sharp money, they haven't bet New England. They haven't bet Atlanta. There's just not a lot of wise guy money on this game. So recognize the point spread is where it's supposed to be. You're allowed to have as much opinion as you want, but when it comes to actual line value, there's zero line value on the Super Bowl in my opinion.
Supermore 420. Do you have any golf knowledge? Love the show. I love golf. I follow it, but I'm not an expert. Brady Cannon's very good. But when we have Brian Blessing on, and usually Brady Cannon to talk majors, and Tiger shit the bed today too. So we'll always talk about the majors, and we'll have a guest on absolutely to help you out. Here's a good question. About the Super Bowl line. There's a 3.5 in town, Teddy, here in Vegas.
Where's that?
Where that line could move.
Where's that 3.5 at?
Treasure Island. Koken said Treasure Island was 3.5.
Oh, well, if they're
See
at
it?
3.5, it's not going to last. In fact, if it was 3.5, I'm just looking right now.
Okay.
See it. If it was 3.5, as soon as the 3.5 pops up, there's going to be someone down there taking it out. This line's not moving off at 3. Not even on game day. No way.
I don't want that disaster though if it lands 3.
That's why you don't move off 3. Once it's on 3, it's going to stay on 3, and it's been on 3.
All right,
I understand why you're looking at me crazy right now. You're giving me googly eyes.
Oh, several people expect that to move though. I'm just surprised you said that.
I don't expect it to move. Who expects that to move? Who said that line's going to move?
Well, if there's 3.5, there were 3.5s in town.
Where? You say there's 1 3.5 at Treasure Island, one rogue book. There's
I was talking to a couple guys expect it to move, and also they were worried about just putting the number up at 3. If it falls 3, you got to refund all the money.
If it falls 3 and they move from 3 to 3.5, they're in worse shape than they are than if they have to refund all the money.
No, yeah.
We got 1 minute left. Let's do 2 more questions, Paulie.
Well, we can sit here all day.
I know. That's the beauty of it. The whole thing is you got to keep it moving, baby. Got to keep it moving.
Okay. High jumper, 1996. Teddy, do you always approach a game with the same systematic approach?
Do I always approach the game with the same systematic approach?
A game.
I would say 99% of the time. Maybe only 98% of the time. There are definitely times where I'm approaching a game where this is a team I'm riding, and I suggest forget whatever else it is. This, like the 76ers or the Bucks, for a little while. When you're riding a team, that's the only thing I'm looking at is this is the team I'm riding. Where can I find the best number to back that team? Otherwise, when it's a basic handicap, my strategy is exactly the same. It's methodical. Every single day I do it the same way. And that's what works for me. I would anticipate that if you have, it's just the finding a system, finding a methodology that works for you. Each handicapper does it differently.
Okay, very good.
I don't know. Was it? I don't know if that's a great answer.
College team to ride going into February, college hoops.
College team to ride going into February. Fresno State. Fresno State's the gift that keeps on giving. There's one for sure. Anyone stands out to you, Paulie? What about Northwestern? It's another team that keeps on covering. They covered again tonight.
So is North Carolina Wilmington. They're 20-2 now. That team's dangerous. Coach K, boy, that's a dumpster fire in Duke. Did you see that? You read that story? He has a team over to his house, and they have a meeting. You're not allowed to go in the locker room and wear the Duke apparel. And then someone runs right to ESPN. It's like, oh, he said this, he said that. Then they had a players-only meeting. And now Capel's like, I'm not talking about this. Should have stayed in the locker room. Oh, my God. What a disaster with the Dukies. I don't know. Yeah, how bad is his back? Brian Myers checking in. Maybe Capel takes the fall because his team is good. They're not living up to the hype.
What else we got, Paul?
I
don't have anything on
Coach K, Brian Westgate.
They should wear NC State gear. Nice job. I appreciate that.
Under all day in the Super Bowl. What do you think of that?
Under all day in the Super Bowl? We're going to have look, we haven't done a ton of Super Bowl analysis this week. Next week, we're going to have ample Super Bowl analysis. We're going to have a whole show that we're talking about props. We're going to have a whole show that we're going to break down the game Wednesday and Thursday next week. And, of course, if you're betting under, you already missed the best of the number. That total's been bet down. All right, man. We're done. We're out of time. We are out of time. Last question. Why bet 110 in Vegas from Awesome 008 when you can do 105, 108 offshore? Mm-hmm. The answer? Because in Vegas, I get paid every time. In Vegas, I am confident I'm going to get paid every time offshore. I've lost money in the past. I know many others have as well. And SBR's got a ton of books that you can recommend. And it's not like nobody's betting offshore, but the ease of betting in Vegas via the app makes me willing to take that, 5-cent juice and eat it.
Yeah. One more, Joe Yurkovich. T-Wolf seemed to be overvalued all year. Why? When did they turn it around? Well, they lost tonight. They had a 3-game lose. They need a veteran. They can't close. They stink in the fourth quarter. I don't know what to tell you. It's unbelievable. I thought all this would go away with Tibbs, but it hasn't.
Hey, number one, they've gotten better. They're 6-2 in their last 8 before tonight's loss.
Yeah.
And they ran into a motivated Indiana team. tonight, no question. But I mean, Minnesota's where they are. They're growing and learning, and the fact that the process hasn't worked as quickly in Minnesota doesn't make it hopeless. There's a lot of talent on that team. They'll figure it out. But is it going to be this year? Minnesota's one team that I think legitimately does want the 8th seed in the West and the chance to get swept by Golden State because that experience will be a real growing and learning experience for the young guys on that team. All right, we got to cut it, Paulie.
Oh, okay, very good.
Thanks.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, let's do it again next week. And if you have questions you want us to answer, please tweet us at Paulie Howard at Teddy_covers. We'll do our best to answer what we can on air. Of course, visit sbrpicks.com. You can find the hangout right here. You can always get live lines. They're very key to examine during the course of the day. Paulie, last words?
Sportsbet, betting insight today. Every Monday, or every weekday, 8 in the morning. That thing's up Pacific time. And then the Google Hangout every Thursday, 8 Pacific, 11 on the East Coast. We love you guys.
Cheers. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great night.